So I just wanted to tell my story and my experience, because what I went through, I feel like, is something that many women go through, but not many talk about it, and not many women do anything about it and stand up for themselves. And through my experience, I've realized that so many women go through it. Women that you would never know. You know, it could be your best friend, your neighbor, your aunt, anybody that you honestly have no idea. It's insane. It could be your coworker, anybody. And I feel like us as women, we need to stand up for each other, and we need to speak up about this, because it's not okay. It's not. And we just really need to be there for each other. So I just really wanted to tell my story to hopefully encourage someone else to tell their story, and in hopes that this will help someone, even save someone, to walk away from something that no longer benefits them. On October 31st, my world shattered. I lost my best friend. I lost somebody that I loved. I lost somebody that I thought I would end up with. The start of everything, I will start from the beginning. It was summer of 2014. My girlfriends and I, we decided to download Tinder. Just something to do. Who cares? We just wanted to see what it was. We just wanted basically an entertainment, never thinking that anything would come from it. You know, we all downloaded it, had forgot about it. One day I log on and I have a message from this, you know, cute guy saying, "Wow, you're so beautiful." You know, we start communicating, and I remember telling him, I said, "Wow, you look so familiar." And he kind of played it off like, "Oh, haha, maybe it's because, you know, we're from the same town, or maybe you've seen me around." Once we exchanged social networks, because I wanted to make sure that he was who he said he was, and he wasn't, you know, like a catfish, because it seems that a lot of people are doing that now. So once we exchanged social networks, I realized why he looked so familiar to me. You know, I go onto his Instagram to add him, and he has 20,000 followers, and I realized that he was Vine famous, and I had seen his, you know, Vines, and that's how I knew him. You know, not knew him personally, but that's why he looked so familiar to me. So, you know, we briefly continued our communication. This was in August of 2014, and up until January, it was very brief. I always kind of, you know, didn't really pay attention to him. You know, he would text me, and it was like 1 or 2 texts, and then I just kind of blew him off. I never thought anything of it. I never thought it would go anywhere, you know, because of who he was. So now it was February 2015, and we were texting, and I was telling him how I wanted to see 50 Shades of Grey, because it had just come out. And he was like, "Okay, today's the day. I'm taking you out on a date. I'm gonna meet you in person, and that's it. I already bought the movie tickets, so you have to meet me. You have to come." And I was, you know, I didn't know this guy personally, so of course I'm gonna be a little like skeptical. But, you know, my friends, of course, pushed me to go. And so I went. And from that day on, we were just instantly connected. It was so strange, you know. We just had such a good connection. It was so easy to be with him. It was so easy to talk to him. We were very connected. It was like two best friends. When we, you know, hung out or saw each other, it was always us playing around, always us joking, laughing. It was a very good relationship, and it developed into a relationship very quickly, because as soon as we met, we instantly clicked and we liked each other. And you know, I was so happy. It was something so unexpected. So, you know, after February, we continued on, and our relationship, like I said, grew very quickly. And, you know, it was very good for a while, a couple of months, and then we started getting into some problems. Only because of who he was. I had never been with someone, you know, that was, I guess you could say, a social figure. You know, it made me very insecure and jealous who he was. You know, I didn't like girls messaging him, you know, his fans. And he also lived, you know, 40 minutes away. So we saw each other, you know, maybe once or twice a week the most. So the distance and who he was definitely got to me. And it just made me very jealous and insecure. You know, it made me start questioning him, and it really got to our relationship. You know, it wasn't easy, but we, you know, try to make it work. We try to figure things out. We try to, you know, see each other more, do this, do that, you know, to keep the relationship going. And it was just, you know, he wanted to move to California, you know, to better who he was. And I felt like I was so separated from that part of him. You know, it was his social networks and Vine, and then there was me all the way over here. I was very secluded. I was never, you know, in any pictures with him. He would never post about me, talk about me, anything like that. It was like, to me at the time, it was like he kept me very hidden and private, because he didn't want to ruin the reputation that he had made with his followers, you know, kind of being very like a jerk and an arrogant, because that's how he came off in his videos. So, you know, I basically got to the point where it's like, I'm giving, and I feel like you're not ready for what I want. You know, your life is going in a totally different direction. This is only the beginning for you. You know, you want to move, you want to, you know, go do new opportunities, you know, it's just, you're pursuing a life without me, and that's fine, but don't drag me along. And that's how I felt. I felt like, in a way, he was taking advantage of me, and he wasn't appreciating me. So, you know, we started getting into a lot of problems, and we were on a cruise for my birthday in July, and we had gotten into a stupid argument. This was, you know, in the bathroom. He was inside the bathroom, I was outside of the bathroom. As I walked away, he pulled my hair, and I just remember turning around and pulling his hand off of me, and I said, "Don't touch me." And I remember crawling into bed and crying myself to sleep. And that is the first time that I ever experienced him being physical with me and getting that angry with me. And I didn't understand why he had to put his hands on me. you should never put your hands on someone. You know, we never talked about it. I just kind of blew it off. I just kind of forgot about it. Not that I forgot about it, I couldn't believe that he had done that. And I knew by talking about it, it would just make it more real that he had just done that. So I just put it in the back burner. I put it in the back of my mind. The second time that he put his hands on me, we were at Disney World, and we had just gotten off of a ride. For this ride, you had to go up an escalator to get to the ride. So, you know, we go on the ride, have fun, whatever. We get off the ride, and I'm walking ahead of him to try to reach the elevator for us so it doesn't close on us. So I'm walking ahead of him. I get in the elevator, he comes up to me, and he grabs the back of my arm extremely hard, pinching me. And he says, "Don't walk ahead of me. I don't like it when you walk ahead of me." Basically saying, like, don't walk away from me. At that point, I don't know if he thought I was mad at him for something and I was walking away from him. But regardless, it wasn't okay to put his hands on me. You know, I don't know if he thought I was mad, but, you know, if he thought I was mad, that's why I was walking ahead of him. But by this point, I was definitely mad. So we get off the elevator, and this time I'm most definitely walking ahead of him to try to get to the next ride because we had a fast pass. So this time I'm walking ahead of him on purpose because you're not going to put your hands on me again. You know, you're not going to try to control me. Who are you? I'm my own human being. You're not my dad. You're not going to tell me what to do, and you're not going to grab me like that. So I'm walking to the next ride, you know, ahead of him. He's walking like 10 feet behind me. We get to the ride. Again, I'm walking ahead of him. We're in the ride, like walking, you know, into it. And he comes up really fast in front of me, and he says, "We can go. If you want to go, we can go." And I said, and when he says that, he's like pushing his body against mine, basically trying to intimidate me. And I said, "Okay, we can go." So I turn around and I start walking away. And this is when he grabs me by my arm and basically yanks me back towards him. And I said, "No, you want to go? We're gonna go now." So again, I'm trying to get out of this, you know, ride, and he's just yanking me by my arms, pulling me back, making a scene. And luckily, right next to where we were fighting, there was an exit. So I walk through those doors, and I try to walk as fast as I can out of the park. So I'm walking again ahead of him, and he keeps coming in front of me and pushing up his body against mine, you know, trying to intimidate me. I just keep walking fast, and we get to the front of Disney World. We're still in Disney World, but we're right, you know, at the gate. And I remember he pulls my glasses off of me, and I have a purse that the strap is a chain. And I remember him bringing the chain all down to my wrist, and he grabbed the chain very tightly, and he was squishing it on purpose because he knew it was hurting me. And he said, he was yelling at me. He's like, "If you want me to cause a scene, I will cause a scene right now. I can cause a scene. I do not care. I will cause a scene." And you know, we're in Disney World. This is a children's park. There are, you know, obviously protective parents and dads all around, so I didn't want to make a scene at that point. So I'm like, no, I want to go home. I want to leave. I want to go home. I want to leave. So I'm walking towards the front of the car. I'm calling my best friend. I'm crying my eyes out. I'm like, "Please come pick me up. Please come pick me up." And he says, "I hope you know that if you get a ride with someone, I'm not going to let you into my house so you can get your stuff." And, you know, I had all of my stuff there. So, I remember walking with him to the car, and he gets in the car, he locks the doors, he doesn't let me in, and he backs up and drives away. So I'm like, okay. I get back on the phone with my best friend, and I'm walking back towards the car. All of a sudden he pulls up. Get in, get inside the car. Oh, I'm not gonna give you your stuff if you leave. Get inside the car now. So I'm like, okay, I need my stuff. Like, I just need it. Stupid me, I got in the car and we went to his house. We get to his house and he says, I'll get you your stuff, you can stay outside, I'll get it. And I said, no, because I want to make sure you get all of my stuff, so I want to go inside and I want to get it. He's like, no, you can stay outside. I said, okay, well then I can call the cops if you need me to, because you have my possessions, so what is it gonna be? I want my stuff. Basically, he was like, okay. I get out of the car and I, you know, walk inside, start getting my stuff. I can't remember quite when, but a couple weeks before that, I had written him like a very nice letter, basically, I love you, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I grabbed the letter and I put it in my bag. And at this point, this is what really pissed him off. So I'm grabbing my bag, the letter's in my bag. He basically yanks the bag out of my hands, and I'm reaching for the letter so he doesn't get it. He's squishing my hand, like, I promise you, trying to break it on purpose. He's just grabbing me, pulling me, basically like pushing me across the room so he can get this letter. You know, I just get so upset. I grab my stuff, I let him have the letter, I walk outside, he closes the garage behind me, and that was it. I drive away, you know, I'm crying my eyes out. I can't believe that, you know, he just put his hands on me again at a public place. And, you know, at that point, I saw how angry he gets from nothing, and it's like a switch. It's just a completely different person in 2 seconds, and it goes from 0 to 100. And I was in shock. You just don't do that to somebody you love. You don't put your hands on them. No matter how angry you are, you do not put your hands on somebody that you love. So basically from that point on, you know, that whole week I was a mess, you know, crying at work. My coworkers, you know, ask me what's wrong. I tell them, they say, don't go back to him. You know, he has anger problems. It's not the first time he touches you. He's gonna do it again. Just, you know, and I'm listening to them, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I love him. Like, maybe it was a mistake. Like, and now that I think about my thoughts back then, I just wish that would have been the last time, and that would have been it, and I would have put a stop to the relationship right then and there. So, this happened, if I recall, either on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, and stupid me, my curious self, I wanted to know if this had happened in his last relationship, because he was with his ex-girlfriend, you know, for a couple of years, from like high school on. So I found her. I messaged her, you know, basically asking her like, hey, you know, he put his hands on me. Has this ever happened with you? Did he have anger problems with you? Just, you know, I'm like, from girl to girl, you know, if I need to walk away, please tell me, you know, I'm trying to protect myself. Basically, she wrote me back, she's like, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. You know, when we were together, he was physically and verbally abusive. And basically what she described is what he did to me. But it was worse. you know, and from the time in the cruise where he just pulled my hair to the scene that he did at Disney World, it had definitely progressed. And, you know, of course, loving him, missing him like an idiot. The incident happened on a Wednesday. I messaged his girlfriend on a Saturday, and then not the Sunday after, but a week after, he texted me this long message basically saying, I'm so sorry, I'm in love with you, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Stupid me. I'm like, you know what, let me give him another chance. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe after this time he realized what he did to me, and he realized that he never wants to put me through that situation again. And that was my mistake. My mistake was going back each time that he put his hands on me. The third time he put his hands on me was on October 31st. Friday the 30th, my best friend was having a Halloween party. You know, where I'm at the Halloween party with my friends. I know that he's working. He doesn't get off of work until like 11 at night or 12 at night. You know, we're at the party drinking, you know, doing whatever. Around 12, you know, I had already had a couple of drinks in me, and our relationship, we hadn't been together really the last 3 weeks because, again, he wanted to move to California to pursue his dreams. And I said, you know what, I support you, I love you, you go ahead and do that. But this is where we need to separate and support each other, and not necessarily be in a relationship, be there for each other, but not be in a relationship. And you know, if you come back, or you know, if I go over there and if we reconnect, maybe in the future we can work something out. But right now our lives are going in two different, you know, directions, and it's not fair for you to hold me back or for me to hold you back, because this is only the beginning for you. So we had been off for 3 weeks, you know, still talking here and there, trying to figure out how we could make it work, but we both knew that nothing was gonna fix it. We, you know, had to let go of each other because it just wasn't fair that we were holding each other back. So, you know, that Friday night I'm drinking. It had been 3 weeks since, you know, I've seen him, I miss him, I have alcohol in me, and all I want to do is just see him. I just want to see him because I missed him so much. So at about 12 a.m., this is already Saturday, 12 a.m., I texted him. I said, can you please come, you know, after you get off? I really want to see you. That's all I want. Like, I just want to see you. Please come. And he says, okay. So he shows up at the party maybe at 1:30. And I just remember seeing him, and I just, like, I ran up to him and I just hugged him. And I hugged him. And we hugged probably for about 30 minutes. And I remember just crying in his arms, just crying because, you know, it's somebody that you love. You never want to let them go. You always hope to be in a relationship for it to lead to marriage and for it to lead, you know, to being with them forever. If not, what's the point of a relationship? You're just wasting your time. You know, so we were just hugging, and I was just so upset because I had missed him so much. So basically, you know, I'm so drunk. Not drunk, you know, I had alcohol in me, and my best friend had driven me to the party, so I didn't have my car. So, you know, I asked him, I said, can you please take me home? He agreed. So, you know, on the ride home, it's very quiet. We get to my house, and he parks behind my car. So it's my car, his car. And at this point, you know, we start talking about our relationship, talking about California, talking about our options. We talked about 30 minutes in total. It was probably 15 minutes inside the car, and then our conversation led to outside of the car. You know, when we were talking outside of the car, you know, I asked him, I said, can you please stay? Like, just please come inside. It's 4:30 in the morning. All I want to do is just lay with you. I just want to lay with you, and I just want to feel for one night that everything is just back to normal and you're not leaving and we're together and we're happy. Like, I just want to experience that for one last night. And he said no. He said, I'm not staying, I'm not sleeping over, because you're gonna make me stay all day tomorrow, and then what? What are we gonna do? We're gonna act like everything is normal when in reality it's not. You know, that's not something you want to hear. You know, I'm offering you to stay because it's so late at night and I know you have an hour to drive home. And to me, it was just very like, he didn't care. In his eyes, it was already over. You know, all I wanted was just to lay with him, just to get to like experience like nothing was wrong, and he didn't want that. And I just felt like he had fallen out of love with me, so that hurt. And I said, you know what, I'm tired, I just want to go to bed. I said, good night, I'm gonna go to bed. And I walk to the front of my house and he follows me, and I don't really remember what happened, only because from this point on all the events happened so fast. I just remember him walking up to my door behind me, and basically we kept talking for a little bit, and I just kept saying, just leave, please, just go, just leave, like I can't keep doing this, just leave. So he's walking towards the car, he gets in his car, and I realize that I left a Halloween mask in his passenger seat. So he's in his car, I walk back towards his car, and you know, I get the Halloween mask and close the door. When I close the door, I see him come out, and I see him saying something to me. So I walk up to him, and at this point we're in between my car and his car. It's the back of my car and the front of his car. As soon as he gets up to me, he yanks the bag that I'm holding and my purse out of my, you know, shoulder, and he throws it behind him all over, you know, the wet lawn. And he's saying, whose door did you just slam? Who do you think you are slamming doors? Slamming my door, who do you think you are? And I just remember trying to go around him so that I could go get my stuff from the lawn, because I didn't want it to get wet. And at this point, he grabbed me by my armpits right here, and he slammed me onto the back of my car, and he was pinning me down. He was just saying, like, who do you think you are, you know, slamming my car door? And I remember I choked him right here to get him off of me so he would let me go. So I'm choking him, and he lets me go, and I'm walking towards the lawn to get my stuff, and I remember him basically like running up to me, picking me up in the air, and like tackling me down onto the lawn. And at this point, I hit the back of my head. I was laying on my back, and I remember getting up really fast because I didn't know if he was gonna get on top of me and, you know, try to hurt me more. Once I'm able to get up from the lawn, he gets up and he grabs me and puts me in a chokehold. I'm able to wrap myself around, and I bit him. I just started biting him. I don't know if it was in his face or on his neck, but I just remember biting him, and I clenched on until he let go of my neck. Once he let go, I let go of biting him, and I just remember him being so mad, and at this point he grabs me. He picks me up once again, and this time he slams me onto the concrete sidewalk, and I landed all on my face. I chipped my tooth, my whole face was scraped, my nose was all bruised, my knees, my shoulder, everything. My face basically broke the fall because he slammed me so hard onto the concrete. And I just remember sitting up, and I was just holding my face. And since we were, you know, outside of my house, I was just holding my face like this, and I was just screaming. I started screaming because I just wanted somebody to help me. I wanted somebody to come out and help me. And luckily, I have a German Shepherd, and she started barking, which woke up my grandma and my mom. So they came outside, and they immediately saw him standing over me. And I'm like, call the police, call the police. So my mom gets on the phone with the police. She's yelling at him. She's like, what did you do to my daughter? What did you do to her? It's not the first time you put your hands on her. At this point, I walk inside of the house, and my mom can see, you know, my face in the light, and she's like, oh my God, your tooth is chipped, your tooth is chipped. And I'm like, what? My tooth? I hadn't seen my face. And I just remember like walking up to the mirror, and I saw my face. And it was like the scariest thing. I have never, you know, gone through something so bad like that. And I, you know, saw my tooth, and I immediately just ran outside, and I just wanted to find my tooth. I just wanted to find my tooth. And I couldn't, and he followed me outside, and he was like, you know, he was like trying to grab me. He's like, I didn't mean it, I'm so sorry. And I just remember, you know, running back into the house and like closing the door behind me. And I remember saying, you better go, because the police is coming and they're gonna arrest you. The police is coming. So he gets in the car and he leaves, and I just start screaming because I'm in shock that this just happened to me. I'm in shock that somebody that was supposed to love me did this to me. He threw me down into the ground, not caring what was gonna happen to me. He didn't care, and that's what hurt me more than just physically. The fact that this was somebody that I loved, somebody that I wanted a future with, somebody that I was considering moving to California with. And he goes and he does this. He physically, you know, hurts me. He physically abuses me. He throws me down like I'm just a piece of trash, like I'm disposable. And that's what hurt me. And I just remember holding my face, and I'm screaming, and I'm like, why did this just happen to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, what did I do? I was so good to him. I showed him so much love, and he can just do this to me. He can completely break me. And I'm screaming, and I remember the cop showed up, and as soon as he saw me, he said, we need an ambulance. So they call the ambulance, and they put me in a stretcher with a neck brace because they didn't know, you know, if I had broken something, if I had a, you know, a concussion. They didn't know what was wrong, but just by looking at me, they saw how bad I was. And the whole way to the hospital, I screamed in that ambulance. I screamed. I said, why? I don't deserve this. Like, why did this happen to me? Like, why? I'm such a good person. Like, I don't do anything wrong. Like, I was so good to him. I loved him. Why did he do this to me? And that's what it took for me to walk away, for me to put a stop to it. And I just want to let anybody know that as soon as you see signs, as soon as he pulled my hair in that cruise, that should have been it. As soon as you see one little sign of anger, one little sign of abuse, walk away. They are not gonna get better, and it's gonna progress. This person doesn't love you, because that's not love. That's not love. And don't blame yourself. No matter what you might have done, no matter how you might have provoked it, they should have never laid their hands on you. And they should never hurt you physically that way, because they're not just hurting you physically, but they're hurting you mentally and emotionally, and they break you. You know, even now I'm so hurt and I'm so broken, and I want to understand why. Like, I still want to know why. Why did you do that to me? Like, why did you think it was okay? Like, why did, at that moment, you just threw me down like I was nothing? Why? You know, do you think I deserve that? Did I deserve it? Like, what did I do to you to make you do that to me? Hurt me in that way? And, you know, if you're going through it, love yourself enough to walk away. Just do it. I know you love them. Trust me, like, I know you love them. And I know you want a future with them. And I know no matter what, you want to stay with them. But that's not love. That's not love. And that's not a healthy relationship at all. It's just not. And you deserve so much more. So much more. And one day, a guy is going to come into your life and is going to make you so happy, and they're gonna make you realize that you never deserve that, ever, ever, ever. So please, if you're in an abusive relationship, walk away, because it's only gonna get worse, and you do not deserve that. And that person is sick. They are sick in their head, and they need help. And it's not fair for you to give up your life for them. It's not. You need to be the most important person in your life, and you need to love yourself, and you need to do things that make you happy. No matter how much you think you love this person and how much you think this person makes you happy, once you find someone better, you're not even gonna think about that person, and you're gonna be glad that what happened to lead you to who you're with now and who you are now, because this does make you stronger, and it does make you realize how valuable you are. So please, just walk away. I know it's hard, trust me, I know, but walk away. There are so many people around you that love you, and trust me, I've learned that. There's so many people around me that have come to support me, have asked me how I'm doing, have came to my house, brought me flowers every day, making sure I'm okay. There are so many people that love you, and there are so many women that have experienced this. So many. And I learned that through this experience. So many women have come up to me and have said, you know what, my husband used to do this to me, my boyfriend, my whoever. There are so many women, and there's so much help out there, and there are so many people that love you. You just have to love yourself, and you have to walk away, because at the end of the day, you're the most important person. And that abusive relationship is not benefiting you in any single way, I promise you. And when you walk away, you're gonna be so happy. It's gonna be hard at first, but you are gonna be so happy, and so many better things are gonna come toward you, and I promise you that. Please walk away.